Save live on a Friday night. Welcome. I've been really looking forward to tonight because I have a really great guest coming up called Sonia. But before we do that, hope you're having a great week. And if you we just want to make sure that your comments and everything can come through. So if you want to watch this on YouTube, all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Cruise Shop Save, and all your comments will come through. But even if you're on Facebook, on my feed, or Sonia's feed, or in the group, then you can always put all your comments in there. We want as many comments as possible. But without further ado, here she is, the lady of the hour. It's Sonia!
Hi, gorgeous. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for saying yes, because I know that you're a really, really busy lady.
I'm an Izzy busy. You're like this. Melissa's become my new best friend. We were just discussing that. We've known each other for 3 conversations.
For 3 conversations, and I feel like I've known you my whole entire life. It's not funny.
Because we talk too much.
We do talk too much, but what else is there to do, right, at the moment? So before we get started, we've got some people watching already. So if you just want to say hi in the comments. Oh, John's here. Do you know what? I'll put your comment up before I read it. I shouldn't do that with John. Hi, John. How are you?
Minnesota.
Yes. He's one of the Cruise Amigos. They do a show on a Sunday night at 8 p.m. Hilarious. Cool. That's great to hear. And I can't wait to get back to cruising as well. So pleased to hear that news. John Valentine says hello from Facebook. Oh, and Elizabeth says hello from Cozumel, Mexico. And Rahesh says hello too. Hi, Rahesh. Oh, John is from Canada. Hi, John. But we got more. Cheryl says, hi, I'm in the UK, and Sonia's cousin. Brilliant. Tell us some secrets, Cheryl. Nice to see you.
It's the other way around, I'm afraid.
Oh, Cheryl, you'll have to be careful. But so without further ado, will you please I've got your information at the bottom because there's so much. Oh, hi, here's Bill. Checking in from Southern Indiana. I happen to know that Bill lives in a place called Santa Claus. Yeah.
How amazing is I love Father Christmas.
I know, isn't it great? And I talk to Bill a lot, and he tells me that it's such a great place to go for Christmas. I definitely have to go. Where are you going for Christmas? Santa Claus.
There's a place, we just moved here in California, and there's a place we drive through all the time called Rainbow, and I keep saying, I want to go and live at the end of a rainbow.
Oh my God, isn't that great? Oh, that's fabulous. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for saying hello. And without further ado, Sonia, will you please, because, sorry, just to say, I've only got 200 words, 200 characters, and it took me ages to get the 200 characters into this, thing at the bottom. I'm sure that's called something. So will you please tell everybody here who you are and what it is you do?
Absolutely. My name's Sonia Selbie. I originally come to you all from Manchester in England, as you can tell by my super posh accent. However, I've lived in America now for over 20 years. I primarily cruise on the big ocean liners with my one-woman show. I'm a little bit fruity. It's a fun, fast, frolicky show where most people say I run around like an ever-ready bunny. Do you remember those commercials with the little bunny?
Oh yeah, I've seen your videos, and you're like a different person.
I'm full on with feeling, and honestly, it might seem really over the top to some people, but to me, it's very natural for me. I think just because of the career path that I've had, I am just full on stage. I have an absolute blast. I live in my moment. I used to say Liza Minnelli, like she lives in her shoes when she performs, and that's how I like to be on stage. I just go for broke. Stay in your own lane, which we've discussed, Be really super comfortable with who you are as a person and as a performer and just go for it. And the people that will enjoy it no matter what. And those that aren't really into their cup of tea come out anyway saying, oh, I had so much fun watching you. You were exhausting.
I think that's why it's so good, is because you just own it.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy myself. I'm a really dear friend of mine told me years ago when I sort of put my first show together for the cruise ships, because I'd been performing my show on land for many years, but I knew it would be very different with an international audience. And he said to me, Sonia, it really doesn't matter what song
No.
you choose. He said it really wouldn't matter. He said for you, your show is personality based. And so from then on in, I just chose songs that made me happy, or I thought had a really great emotionally happy feel to them. Occasionally I'll sing the odd ballad.
Oh,
Get a little squishy, but I'm very careful about only doing one, maybe two, and then being quite theatrical.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite theatrical.
Yeah. So it's really upbeat. It's more upbeat stuff that you prefer
more
doing.
Stuff. In general, I've always worked through the eras. I've always thought for me that's been super smart because, age groups change all the time. So I just chop an era off when we lose it. But I tend to go from the 60s to the present day. And we just work our way through. And I choose my favorites from those eras. I don't necessarily choose them for my audience.
Right.
And I definitely, if most female singers perform those songs, I don't do them.
No.
That's my golden rule. I don't
really.
I've never done a Whitney Houston song in any of my shows.
Really?
I'm like, there are certain vocalists that go ahead. You can sing Whitney, sing Celine Dion, and I think they're absolutely amazing songs, and I sing them for myself at home. But I like to sing really happy, jolly songs. Those are all a bit too dramatic for me, a bit too much stand in a ball gown. And
very diva, isn't it?
I try and do the songs that most people forget that are actually amazing. And that makes it more interesting for me.
So some of the artists that you do cover is Patsy Cline. Love Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline is really random. I'm not kidding you. Those filing cabinets? Here we go. See, we said this. I'll go off on the tangent. So
I know, and I'll forget that we've got people watching us. So keep adding your comments because we'll end up just gassing me now.
So we had those filing cabinets, and it's got 300 drop files in it, and I got one to put all my band music inside.
Wow.
So each song fits into one file. And I filled all 300, and I still have 2 boxes of band music because I'm addicted to new songs in my show. I mean, I'm never going to sing all of them. It's absolutely ridiculous. But with the Patsy Cline song, it's part of what I call my bag of tricks.
Right.
Depending on itinerary that I'm going on and possibly knowing the demographic, I'll just take a bag of tricks, normally about an extra show's worth of music.
Wow. Just in case, yeah?
Yeah, because sometimes you go on and there's like 1 million kids and I wasn't expecting them, so I'm not about to sing Patsy Cline.
Right.
But I got requested Patsy Cline in my second show once, and I got a standing ovation in the middle of the show. And I was like, well,
no.
I'll keep
Which
that
song?
in then.
Yeah. Which song?
Patsy Cline's Crazy.
Oh, well, that's just brilliant. I mean, that's
People
a classic.
love it. They absolutely love it. They'll come, oh my God, Sonia, you sound so much like her. And I'm like, really? I never rehearsed it. I just sang it one day, and that was that.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But, that's fun for me. That's super, super enjoyable. You said you've got loads of questions, and I'm like chatting on.
No, it's fine. So this is Pete, another one of the Cruise Amigos. So there's three of them. Pete's a good friend of mine, and so again they have a show on a Sunday evening at 8 o'clock, and anyone that's watching that loves cruising and just they're very funny. They've got lots of great stories, and you guaranteed to laugh. And then Elizabeth says, looking forward to hearing you on a ship one day soon. So that's weird. I don't know if you've met Elizabeth, because I guess here's the thing: you are a one-woman show and you're not always, you go on a ship and you do, is it one cruise or sometimes two?
It just depends, to be honest. Most
Yeah.
of the time, I find you jump on in the middle of a cruise, the middle of the end of a cruise, and then you stay on until the middle of the
Right.
next. So you get two
It's
sets of
smart.
audiences, but only half a cruise each.
Yes, that's smart. Well, Elizabeth used to work on, well, she still is working when they come back, works on Oceania and Regent as port shopping guide.
Oh,
Yeah.
have we never met Elizabeth?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Let's see if she comes up again and says anything. But yeah, that's odd. So yeah, you worked with Princess, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Oceania, and Regent. But what I want to know, my burning question is, when did you start performing?
Well, I went to theatre school when I was 3.
No.
Yeah, when I was 3, I went to theatre school because I used to sit in corners. I kid you not. Used to sit in corners and cover my face and scream at anybody that ran in and came into the house. Like, I was just terrified of people. And
Oh,
so
really?
the local doctor told me, Mum, oh, you must enroll her into something, take her to the Brownies or something like that. And so she took me
Yeah.
to dancing. And I sat on a chair in the corner and cried for about 7 weeks. And I had a pair of, because she kept them, a little pair of brown, I was going to say sneakers because I've lived in America so long, my brown trainers and my
Yeah.
little orange skirt. Wasn't I trendy in the 70s? Um, but yes, I went there, and one day they asked everybody to get up and be fairies, and that was the day I stood up and said, I'm going to perform now. I'm going to be a fairy. But I went to a school that provided the Diddymen for Ken Dodd. And
Wow.
I was 6 when I first performed with Little and Large. Do you remember Little and Large? So
Oh my
yeah, we did
God.
pantomime with them. And at the audition, they asked if anybody could sing. And I put my hand up. And it's really funny because as a little girl, I was very, very shy. And I don't know why I put my hand up. I obviously knew this was going to be my career one
Right.
day. Who knew?
Your
I
destiny.
did. I stuck my hand up and said, I can sing. I didn't even know if I could sing, but I did. I got a solo in the pantomime with Little and Large, and I sang I'm Only a Poor Little Sparrow.
Oh my God. I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Well, I did that. And because of that, the Diddy Men always came from our theatre school, the Russell Late Theatre School in
Yeah.
Manchester. I was a little too young at the time, but because of my solo, Miss Russell decided to throw me into Diddy's just a little bit here and there to start with. Um, but we worked all the time. We all had a certain amount of days you could work in a year and miss school.
Right.
So in
Yeah.
general, we had 3 teams of kids, 3 teams of 10, and we would just do a rotation until your days were up.
Yeah.
But I toured with Ken from the age of 7,
So
right?
I have a picture here.
Uh-huh.
So if anyone's watching this in the US, what she's talking, if you don't mind, Alex, you must get this a lot because you live in America when you. So Sonia was a Diddy man, one of the Diddy men for a comedian well, he wasn't just a comedian, was he? He was a great singer
He
and
was
a
an
performer.
amazing singer. He had, and he still has, the longest running number one, I believe, in the 60s. He beat the Beatles and everything.
No way.
For Tears. Yeah, I think it was the best selling single across England, something like that. So you can all Google it. He's
Wow.
known as the king of comedy.
Well,
He
that's
passed,
him in the middle.
that's him in the middle. He created, well, he did everything. He was a ventriloquist, a singer,
Yeah.
fantastic stand up. He also studied comedy, like hugely. Um,
Yeah.
he was one of the best known for that. Great little actor. He was in Doctor Who.
Oh, what's he now?
Yes, yes, he's in
But
Doctor Who.
before I take this picture down,
Yeah.
obviously we want to know which one is you.
Well, now I'm the policeman on in the corner. You can tell because I'm
Bottom.
white as snow.
What, bottom left.
The bottom left. Now
Down.
the lady in next to him holding the monocle by her eye. She's playing a character called Nigel Ponsonby Smallpiece. Now, when you're a Diddy man, you start off at the very back as Dickie Mint. It's the
Yeah.
smallest costume. And basically, you work your way up through the costumes. So I became Nigel Ponsonby's small piece. And
Yeah.
if you go on YouTube, I've been posting videos as I clean them or as I have time.
I'm going to put, what's your YouTube channel? I'm just going to put it in the comments.
Just Sonia Selbie.
Sonia
Yeah, I believe.
Selbie. Well, actually, while you're talking, I'll get your YouTube channel up. How's that?
How's that? So yes, and actually, I've been. I think there was a fire at the BBC, and a lot of footage was lost. We did a Christmas show, a Christmas special with Ken, and then he had an evening series, and my parents recorded almost everything. Now, I'd never seen any of the footage anywhere, so I do believe there was a fire. So through the years, I've been posting certain videos, and then a couple of weeks ago, I started transferring the final video, and luckily, it's still played. It's taken me a while to get the audio all sorted out, but as I'm going, I'm uploading, and there's just the most amazing footage coming. Like I posted one yesterday of George Carl, who was a super duper well-known clown mime act. Just incredible. It's a brilliant piece of footage. Because we talent attracts talent, and Ken attracted some of the greatest variety entertainers across the world. Really, like every show we did, there were different acts on, and sometimes you'd end up seeing them become huge names. And as a kid growing up in this business, I really am blessed that I was still around for what I call those good old variety days. Was still very much alive and kicking. Oh, look.
I know. What's going on in this picture? That's you singing, is it?
Well, that's so he's the patron of our theatre school. And every year we would still do a regular show like most kids do at their dance school. The only difference with our show was that we did the first act and Ken did the second act. He always came and performed in our regular yearly theatre show.
Wow.
I was giving him some sort of award or something. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I had to say it, Chingni Bangwa Shi Dien Dung Shi. In other words, please will you help me do my washing? So it must have been something to do with a pantomime that he had coming up. Because I had just done Rupert the Bear's Magical Musical. So for most people, Americans, Rupert the Bear was a cartoon. It used to be on the back of the Express, I think, the Daily Express newspaper.
Yeah.
And I was in a musical of that, and one of the characters was a little Asian girl called Tiger Lily.
And I love that name.
And so I had learnt, a little bit of Asian languages along the way. I can't remember now as a kid. Was it Chinese I learnt or Japanese? I don't remember. I remember singing the song because we re-recorded the theme song to Rupert the Bear. Do you remember that?
Rupert. Well, I won't shock everybody with my singing, but you can carry on.
We did the disco version. We did the disco version of it in the show. It was quite funny. But yeah, so I remember saying that to him. It's funny how you remember things. Xingni Bangwa Shi Dien Dung Shi. I don't know if I said it correctly, but I remember learning it and working on it so long. But yeah, he did every single theatre show that we did every year, which was just for parents and family. Ken would come and perform a good 2 hours, which was absolutely magical. And of course, we'd get up and do ditties. We had quite a few different numbers that we did with him. We had a single in the 70s called Hold My Hand.
Yes, I remember that. And that's on your... Did I see that on... See, I get confused with YouTube. So I went on your channel, and your channel's amazing. Your YouTube channel. And if you're watching this, absolutely subscribe to Sonia Selbie's YouTube channel. I just put the link in the comments.
Yes, please do, because I'm growing slowly but surely.
Yes, you're doing very well, and there's a reason why you do. There's another reason why you're doing very well. But let's still talk about Ken Dodd. So if you could compare Ken Dodd with an American variety act, who would it be? I should have maybe warned you. I was going to ask you that.
You can't.
Stop doing it.
You can't.
You can't. Can you?
There are certain entertainers that come around that are irreplaceable.
Yes,
And
he was.
there literally are never two of. He
Yeah,
was completely unique in every way, shape, and form. So you just couldn't. It would be like, funny enough, I'm talking about this in another group. It'd be like talking about Charlie Chaplin. There just isn't another Charlie Chaplin. There's
no,
never
he's
been
unique
anybody
within
like
himself.
him since.
And Laurel and Hardy. I would just watch the movie
Yeah.
the other night, actually, Laurel and Hardy.
But Ken, there's just, you could talk about him for years, but there's a great piece of footage of Ken
Is it on
doing.
your channel?
No, it's not on my channel. It's just on YouTube. Just type in Ken Dodd and the Beatles. And I want to say it's one of their first TV interviews. Now, Ken comes from Liverpool, as do the Beatles,
Oh, right.
but Ken is far more beloved,
Yeah.
far more beloved. I mean, you get off the train and there's a big giant statue greeting you of Ken.
Oh,
He's far much more beloved. But this interview is fantastic because those boys are just staring at him like, he's
in awe.
yes, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic interview. I love it.
Mm.
I love
And,
all that old variety. I'm obsessed with it.
I could talk about Ken Dodd all night because
Yeah.
obviously I grew up with it as well. But one thing you said to me in one of our other 3 conversations ever, like you said that I said, what was he like to work for? Because you hear all these stories. An entertainer is one way on the outside to
Yeah.
the people, but then they're another way. They're a bit divish. And what did you say when I asked you what was he like in
Uncle
person?
Ken. Yes, because we call him
Uncle
Uncle
Ken.
Ken.
Did you call him Uncle Ken?
We call him Uncle Ken and Auntie Anne. Always.
Anne
He
was
knew
his wife.
everybody by name. He knew almost everybody's birthday. He really was like an uncle. We were hugely respectful of him. We didn't spend like tons of time with him. We would turn up to the theatre and do our rehearsal. And it was like Ken would have eyes in the back of his head. We would close the first act as Diddymen. And we'd done other numbers during that first act, and the curtain would come down and he'd turn around. And sometimes we'd get in trouble if he didn't think the energy was good enough or somebody made a mistake.
Right.
It wasn't a case of, oh, great children every single time. Well, it could have been better. But he would choose 2 of us to go to the dressing room and he would give us our chip money.
Oh, for a bag of
Yeah,
chips.
because we'd try, we wouldn't really stay. We'd stay in areas for summer seasons and things like that. Or if we did, when we were at the Palladium, we would go down and stay. But in general, most places we would just drive straight back. And we'd have to get out of the theatre by 10:15 before the police would come. Because, legally the kids have to be out by that time.
Wow.
If you're working. So, yes, but he would give us our pennies to go and get chips, except if I was there, he'd give an extra £1 note because I wouldn't eat chips. I only like chicken. It cost more money because I'd have my chicken leg.
Well, he remembered that about you. Pete says impossible to compare Ken Dodd for Americans, just like Tommy Cooper. Laugh out loud. So lucky to have worked with him as a kid. Now, Pete, I did not know you worked with Tommy Cooper.
Fantastic.
I just interviewed him last week. He never said anything about that.
Tommy Cooper was an
And
legend.
he's also asking, which school, Sonia, did you go to?
Barbara Speaks adjudicated me a few times. I went to the Russell Late Theatre School. So, yeah, I was there. It's no longer running, I don't believe anymore. Miss Russell's now retired. Miss Lake lost her many, many years ago. They were absolute incredible women, like just the most amazing characters you could ever come across. We were very much a working theatre school. We didn't compete in anything. We weren't competition kids whatsoever. We learnt how to pack our own bin liner of clothes to go on tour and do your own makeup and hair at 7.
Wow.
It was
How do you think it's changed? You mentioned you didn't compete. Do you think that's what's changed a lot now for young entertainers? It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. We never even thought about competing against each other. Now that I'm thinking about it, we did help at a competition ceremony thing that happened once a year. Through the system that adjudicated us. But we weren't allowed to compete Miss Russell would take us and we would help. So we would be doing doors or giving girls numbers for their costumes. I used to sit next to the adjudicator with the clock and write everything down she told me to. And some of those girls really went on to do quite big things in television.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, Anna Jane Casey, I used to watch her all the time. She does quite a lot now, I think, in England.
Yeah.
But I used to just sit there with the alarm clock and hit it.
Yeah.
You're on too
Blimey.
long. But yeah,
So
I think these days the kids have it really difficult.
I do.
And they're all trying to be something they're not.
Yeah,
Everybody's fame hungry. Put me on TikTok. I want to be a star.
I know, and they don't want to do the work because it is easy to assume when you look at someone who suddenly bursts onto our screens and they are hugely entertaining, whether that be singing, acting, you know, whatever it is, you just think, oh, that looks easy. But what they don't understand is what's gone behind it. And I think they make it look easy because you have to, you're performing.
Dancers now, I mean, in general, a dancer's career is quite short-lived unless you're super smart and have ways to continue through it as choreographers and directors and producers. But they have such a short-lived career. And a lot of them now spend most of it literally just competing. I'm like,
yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I can understand why people want to be dancers. It's so much fun. It's just great fun.
I trained as a dancer.
Did you?
Yeah, I did train as a dancing was my forte. You know,
we still do. We still do a bit of jigging about on the stage. I should call it jigging about.
But you know, dancing at my theatre school, that was my main thing. It was just literally the first job I did. Our lead singer and I took over a part. Oh, it's an awful story, so I won't say it. But I took over a part and ended up being the singer in some shows. And that was it, really. And then I was told to put my own show together, and I did. Well, my dance teacher used to...
When was that?
I was
Sorry to interrupt.
Well,
so you've had your own show since you were 16?
Since I was 16. My first boss was one of the brothers in the tour of Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Really?
So my school provided the kids for the choir whenever it came to Manchester. And we did it at least once, twice a year. It was such a popular tour at that time. And of course, Mike Holloway, he played Joseph, and there were super fans just thought he was amazing, which he is.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the brothers who was on the last Bill Kenwright cast album with Mike Holloway remembered me and called Miss Russell because he knew her and said, "How old is that girl on the front in the corner? I always sat in the same spot next to the stairs." He said, "Because last time we did the show, I felt that she was too old." And Miss Russell said, "Well, she kind of was." She said, "She's 16. He said, "So she's finished at high school?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Great," because he'd found a boy for this show that he was doing and extended the cast because he thought he was hugely talented and then needed a girl to balance. And so called my mum and asked permission if I could do this job away from home and sign my contract. So my mum took me on the train and dropped me off and signed everything. And yeah, that was it, really.
Wow.
It was that job that he asked us all to put our own shows together. And we did review type shows of musicals. And we did a review of Grease. And Coca-Cola sponsored us.
Oh, wow.
The day that we were recording it in the studio, there were contractual issues, and so they asked me to put the lead vocal of Sandy on so that we could do all the backing vocals. Innocently, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fun." And the next day, I was taking over that role. So I got to sing a little bit more then, and I learnt during those few years just of singing, doing my own show and putting it together, that I loved it.
Yeah.
I liked not being told not what to do.
Yeah.
And I realised that I could have so much fun. So I started singing in the clubs in England.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went to the bank and I asked them for £1,000 so I could buy a PA system. And they gave me £1,000 and I bought a PA. And I got a car for a couple of £100. I didn't drive. But my friend from dancing school, he drove, and I felt bad for messing up his car with my gear and all the mileage. So he would drive my car and be my roadie, with my dad, who was a milkman. So they'd take it in turns to drive, and my dad famously, sorry, I'm waffling very quickly, I know. My dad would sit
No, it's fine.
My dad would sit at the back of the club with his cup of tea and fall asleep while I was doing my show. Or they were like the grumpy old men.
That's not great advertising, is it?
No, they were like the grumpy old men from the Muppets. Him and Carl would like sit there and put numbers up and give me scores all the way through the show. Well, it became a running joke in the club circuit. And, you know, this was a world I knew nothing about, but it was the best grounding for me as a female entertainer.
Great training.
Absolutely. I mean, I went to some absolute dumps. Well, I'm sure every entertainer in England will tell you this. You go to some absolute dumps and then you go to some triumphs. But as long as you get through the night and you get paid, and your gear doesn't get miraculously broken by somebody, you know.
Vicky says, Mr. Milk.
Oh, Vicky. Yes, Vicky and I did Mad About the Musicals UK tour together.
Oh, wow. Hi, Vicky. Thanks for watching.
She's my daughter.
Oh,
yeah, I gave Vicky all my old cabaret dresses because, you know, I've spent a fortune through the years buying things, and you know, they don't always fit you forever, do they? And I didn't throw them away. I gave a lot of them to Vicky. She was my
oh,
bless
she
her.
says, I learned so much working with Sonia. Oh, that's really nice.
Yes, we did a wonderful tour together. When I bought my first house in Blackpool, and I was renovating my first house. I love those costumes, bless her.
Are you still performing, Vicky? Well, not right now, but
she has her own school.
Oh, wow. Dance school.
She teaches her and her husband.
Is it dance school or singing?
Singing, I believe, acting and music. I think that's correct, Vicky. Hopefully I've got that correct. She'll probably type the name out. Teaching. Now, yes. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great news. Yeah. So how did you musical theatre, she says. Musical theatre. There you go. Oh, that's great.
Teaching, yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Keep up the good work. What was I going to say? So that's amazing. So you started your own show at 16 and you did the clubs. And if anyone's watching this who's too young or lives in America, the club scene was basically your Saturday night in. How your Saturday night is with the shows that we have on TV. It's like a big deal on a Saturday night. There's some kind of, Ant and Dec thing, or Britain's Got Talent or X Factor or something like that. So everybody watches that. But back in the day, you'd go to just your local club and it'd be like a conservative club or the Labour club or church hall. Well, maybe not church hall.
No, there were the Catholic clubs, working men's.
That's it.
And you'd go and see 2 or 3 different acts. I tell you, these audiences were worse than Simon Cowell.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had seen everybody. I mean, you'd go in the dressing room. There was one dressing room in Wales, and there was a headshot. Everyone used to sign their headshots to the band and put them on the wall.
Yeah.
And I saw Tom Jones and Shirley.
Oh, wow.
So I moved them. I moved them around on the wall so I could put mine between the 2 of them.
That was you, was it?
But you would turn up, and you know, you might see the other acts, or you might literally just pass them through the door, because you could do 3 clubs in a night, 3 sets.
Yeah.
And so you do the opening set at one club, and I'd literally drive around in my dress with my trainers on the bottom and then throw my heels on. There was no band call. You know, you'd turn up and say, all right, boys, what do you want? Normally just 2 pints. So I'd order them 2 pints. We'd talk through each song for 5 minutes in the music book, or as we called them, dots. We'd talk through our dots, and then we'd jump up on stage after the raffle or bingo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's
big deal that
in British life. It was a huge event for a long time.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's just not the same now, but I feel really, really blessed that I was able to be around for those days, and I won quite a few awards which were really important for you back then.
Yeah. So when you did the clubs, and then what did you do?
And then I went to cruise ships.
I was just going to say, what was that when you went to cruise ships?
Yes, I actually did the production shows. Here's the story. It was really random. I contacted them directly and said I had this show and I wanted to get them onto ships. I didn't know you had to.
Which cruise line did you contact?
Royal Caribbean.
Okay.
Was it them? No.
Did you know anyone there?
No, it was Holland America first. Ooh.
What year was that?
1981. Oh,
Blimey.
I don't remember. I was 20. I went to Holland America as dance captain. I wasn't even the featured.
Because, you know, I didn't tell you this, but my first ship was the Old Nordam in 96.
Oh, wow. I was on the the old New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I'd been busy doing the clubs and I couldn't keep going. It was a lot for a girl of that.
Oh, it's a lot of work, yeah. Grueling.
It was so much work and I felt very isolated after a while. And I just needed a change of scene. And so it was random the way it happened. I said, I'm going to go to this audition. Because I'd been in skate school for Starlight Express for 4 months. And
wow.
And at the end, I thought I was going to be in the show. And then at the end of it, they actually had some changes. The show changed itself. Anyway, that's a longer story. But I just wanted to get away. So I did. I went to Holland America and got my taste at sea.
Yeah.
In fact, I've stayed in touch with almost that entire cast who went on.
Wow. And you were dance captain?
I was
you were
captain.
Wow.
The company manager and I worked together 3 different times during our lives, randomly.
What was their name?
Rick Waldock. He
I remember that
me at Royal Caribbean 10 years later, and then I saw him on Princess many years after that.
Wow.
Johnny Walker, who became Jack Walker, who became a headliner like myself, big Scottish guy.
Yeah.
Lenia Rideout, she's done magnificently. She went on to Broadway. She's done My Fair Lady. She was in the revival cast of Cabaret, and she's also in the revival of oh goodness gracious, Somebody Crowd Me With Love, the musical company. When the revival, they all had instrumentalists. She's the violin lady. Lenia's done fabulous things, and we've always stayed in touch with each other. Love her.
Oh, that's great.
But then I went to Royal Caribbean. Into the production casts, and I was there for quite a few years. And what I would do is, and it was a beautiful balance for me, I would do a contract and then I would go back to the clubs.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened is when I went to Royal Caribbean, I did contact Robin Cahill. I remember writing her a handwritten letter, so it must have took forever to get to her. And said, you know, I had my own show, and she had suggested I come to this audition, and it was an audition for the cast. And jump forward like 20-something years now, Robin is actually one of my agents. How weird is that? Just the way things
wow.
It wasn't but she now works at the agency that I get booked under, which is just, I think it's a lovely story. But I was with Royal for a long time, and I would come and go. I would do other shows like Vicky and I. We did Mad About the Musicals. That was a great show. Loved doing that. Until eventually, a lot of cruise directors would let me do like the welcome aboard, farewell shows. And I just so desperately wanted to get my show up. It's so difficult because a lot of people do production and then become an act. And I kept saying to people, but I'm not. I'm already an act. It was really hard, but I also was very young.
Yeah.
Still, it's hard to explain that to people when you're 20 and you think, no, I've actually been doing this a while. But I waited my turn. I watched other acts. And
you're quite humble.
I wouldn't say thank you. I wouldn't say I changed really anything. I mean, I pretty much ended up doing the same show that I was doing when I was 16, 17 when I first did it on the ship. Didn't change the songs. I stayed with the same format. In fact, some songs we're still doing today. I know people moan that acts don't change their shows. But I have tons and tons of shows, but there's certain numbers that have just stayed with me forever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So Pete says, my proudest moment was working with Bob Fosse. Oh, wow. Even though I'm tone deaf. I think you mean deaf. And a useless dancer. You're so right, Sonia. Golden days were so lucky. Come on. Now you're dropping all the names. Now,
well, you
not
know,
in
Bob Fosse. Speaking of Bob Fosse,
Fosse.
what's his name? Oh gosh, I can't say it. Ben Vereen. So Ben Vereen
Yeah.
was he used to bring his show on the ships, and he used to always ask the singers in the show to be backup singers for him.
Oh, wow.
He was a nice chap. He watched my whole show on video in his cabin and gave me notes. I was very, very thrilled by that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you were working on cruise ships until sadly this all happened in March last year. So what have you been doing this last year? You've been busy.
I've been very busy. I came home on the 23rd of March. I was stuck on a ship for a while. Happily so. Actually, we were quite happy and fine and dandy. We were looked after.
Which ship was that?
I was on Oceania down in Chile.
Oh, right. Riviera.
Was it the Riviera or the Mariner?
I know. They're all the same.
Already.
Same ship.
I can't remember now. No, but we came home and I knew I had to do something straight away. I was like, need to, not lose focus. A good friend of mine had said, make sure you wake up and make your bed and open your curtains every morning.
Yeah, good advice.
So I stuck by that one straight away. And the first thing I did was learn how to use all the equipment in my studio. My husband and I have collected a lot. He's a drummer. We have tons of studio equipment, but not always the time to work it. So I learned how to use it all by putting a project together with my fellow entertainers. I thought maybe...
I saw it. It was great.
Yeah, I thought 20 people, Melissa, would sign up, and I had over 70 acts. Like, all the music was from scratch. It started with John Bresler, the entertainer, and I. That's how this whole thing started. I asked him to play me a piano track to Rod Stewart Sailing. And then literally every instrumentalist, and they're not orchestra musicians, these are solo and guest entertainers, get in touch with me. And so I have a cello playing, I have the amazing, I was so starstruck, Gary Lavini. Growing up, if you're English, Gary Lavini and his violin. And when he signed up, I was starstruck, and I'm thinking, well, we do the same job now, but I'm still like, oh, he's playing on it. So we put that together, and I learned so much about the studio, and it filled every part of my day and made me feel fantastic, and it was a huge success. After it, I thought, okay, now I need to do something of my own in the studio. So I did a course, which you and I have been talking about. We've been doing lots of courses on social media and trying to learn the way of the kids. I always said not to knock what's going on in the world of social media in the entertainment industry. I don't want to be that person that moans about it. If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Can't beat them, join them. So I'm here with the 16, 17-year-olds on all these social media things. How can I do something that would be interesting and also keep my juices going? So I chose public domain songs.
Right.
I realized that nobody on social media anywhere was doing anything about social public domain songs, and they are license free to perform. Now, they're not necessarily my forte, but I thought, I'll do that. So I started doing that, and then from that, I was like, that's it, I'm going to do a Zoom show. That's it.
Yeah.
I can work this equipment. I'm going to do a Zoom show. So now I'm doing, every Sunday I post a public domain song, and then every now and then I'll do a Zoom show. Well, the Zoom shows have been going absolutely brilliantly. Who knew I could do a whole show from my bedroom? Well,
I know.
It's not a bedroom now. Now I have a full-on TV studio now in the house.
I know, it's fab. It's exciting, isn't it?
I turn the camera around and show you, but that loses the magic. And yesterday
I know.
and we lost power.
Yeah.
But
So
no,
a couple of things.
yes,
But I think we've missed something out.
have we? Because
It's my fault. No, it's my fault. But amongst all of this, you have your own album, haven't you?
yes.
What's it called? Yes, here it is as well. The Other Side of Me by
Called
Selbie.
The Other Side of Me. Well, you see,
Yeah.
I have so many stories. That's why we didn't get to it. It's okay.
I know. I didn't want to miss it.
I've had 3 albums in my lifetime. 2 of them
Oh
were
wow.
2 of them were on a cassette. There was no such thing then as
Oh
a
my
CD.
goodness.
Is that amazing? And they were all really just what I did through the club circuit. I always wanted to have a real album. And my husband and I moved to Nashville, Tennessee when we came to the US, or when I came. And my Auntie Chi Chi, as I call her, was my roadie in my later years. She took me to every single gig, and I did a lot of the driving, but on the way home, she would drive home for me.
Yeah.
She was my bestest mate ever. You wouldn't have known there was a big age gap. We just got
Yeah.
on like a house on
I know what
fire.
you mean. Yeah.
And I lost her to breast cancer, so she never got to see me perform my show on the really big stages. So I thought it would be really nice to do something in her honor. So we put this album together as an inspirational piece. It's really not like my show whatsoever. Um, all the songs within it, I think, have the most beautiful stories to tell. Like I say, it should be inspirational and positive and not negative.
Yeah.
And
I
Fields
agree.
of Gold by Sting was the reason she loved
Oh,
Sting.
I love that song.
Yeah, I wrote a song that's on there called 10,000 Fireflies. You can find them via my YouTube.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that's been the most downloaded song of all, which has been really nice for me because it's
Wow.
a song that I wrote, very personal, about my parents. And yes, it's become, one of the most popular pieces on there. And then a
That's
dollar of every sale goes to Breast Cancer Research Foundation in Chi
wow.
Chi's honor.
Yeah.
And
So if you're
we're
watching
almost at
this,
$2,000 now, almost.
oh, it's amazing.
Yay!
2,000 downloads. I can do maths as well. So where do people go to download? Because if you're watching this either now or in the future, you need to go to
You can go to my website for everything now.
Sonia Selbie. I'm going to put that in there.
I'm such a geek. SoniaSelbie.com. And as soon as you go there, there is links galore. There's a link to buy the album, and when you purchase the album directly from me, I'll sign it for you before I return it. But I also, because it's a new age now, I also include a download card. So you get the physical CD, but you then also get a download card you can give to a family member.
Yeah.
And it's just been beautiful. I've made some really, really nice friends outside of my show that I've met on ships because of the subject matter and because the CD has brought them some comfort. So that's been really neat. Everyone keeps saying, when are you going to do another one? But I don't think I'll do another one like that. For me, that was just, I wanted to say in my lifetime that, amongst the comedic side of me, I wanted to say, you know what, I am a singer. And if I do nothing else in my career, I wanted to look back and say I did a proper album with proper musicians.
It's like your legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all like.
And you might do more.
I might do. You never know. You never know. That it was such a joy to put together. 2013, we did that. We just realised it the other day.
Wow.
And I'm like, gosh, that's further back than I thought. So we do.
Yeah,
and soon.
And going back to your Zoom show, which I have yet to see and I want to see, I've got your website up there. So if you're watching this, you go to Sonia's website. It's all there because your website's fantastic, by the way. Yeah. So if you want a ticket for a Zoom show, if you want to download this album or download that song, and $1 goes to breast cancer research. So definitely make sure you do that. But we have a bit of a surprise, don't we? Oh, you do. I don't. So.
I'm glad I should take you. Melissa's my new best friend. I'm going to take you everywhere I go, Melissa, because you keep me focused.
I know. Well, trust me. I'm struggling because me and you could just chat for hours.
Oh, we have done. We
We
went on.
haven't.
We should tell everybody that we went to chat yesterday to do the other day to do a little sound checky thing that should have took 10 minutes, and we were an hour and a half.
Chatting.
But I'm doing
My
a new
different
show. I've done 3 shows so far. We've done my regular headliner show in its
Right.
entirety from my
Wow.
tiny studio.
So hold on.
We've done my
So,
album.
so wait a minute. You've done have you done the show that you would normally do on a cruise ship?
Yes.
Wow.
Because we are working on a new album, and for years
Yeah.
people have had songs from my show that they're like, oh, that's not on that album. And I'm like, well, no, it's a very different entity of this piece.
Yeah.
So I've had the tracks made so they sound like the real deal. In fact,
Right.
I did my show on Norwegian, and I kid you not, this couple had been on a princess ship with me the week before, and
Because Pete asked if you.
they went from that ship to Norwegian with me. And Princess, I had a band, and Norwegian I didn't. And at the end of it, they said, the band sounded really different tonight. I said, well, there wasn't a band, it was my tracks, but it sounds just like the show.
Yeah.
So I did the whole show from.
So you worked on Norwegian as well?
Yes, I just started.
Pete was asking that. He asked that question because Pete cruised on Norwegian Epic.
Okay, I did the Epic. A couple of years ago, I did the crossing over to the Med. I've only done a few Norwegian. Just started with them.
Is it a fab ship? I've never been. I've heard it's amazing.
Huge, absolutely ginormous. Took me forever to find my way around. Goodness gracious! But and it was so unique to me because, like I say, there was no band.
Yeah,
such a big ship.
That's interesting.
Yes, I'm not a huge fan, but I have jumped in. I was like, if I'm going to do shows in that format, then I want to have live musicians on my track. So I've made a big deal about that. So that was my first show I did on Zoom. Then we did The Other Side of Me, which was actually Zoom really lent itself to because it's so personable. And then we did the Halloween show, which was
Oh,
an
wow.
absolute blast. Oh my gosh, it was hysterical. I didn't get round to Christmas shows because I was far too busy in the end. But I've decided to do a show for Easter. We're doing Spring
Yes.
to a show tune with Sonia.
Yes. Spring to a show tune with Sonia. I can't wait.
Yes, well, I thought it would be nice. It's been a while, and I have quite a decent group of what I call my passenger friends. They're just my friends now, aren't they?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
come to all my shows religiously. It's very easy. It's $15 for your whole household, so you can have your own little Good Friday party.
Yeah.
I don't care how many people are watching. All I ask
Yeah.
is that you pay the $15 so that I can switch my electricity and my computer on. No, but I like to think
yeah.
they've been really. I like to think they're entertaining. The sound quality, I'm super duper proud of.
Yeah.
So you can hook it up to your television and put it through your speaker system. But the sound's great. We have multiple cameras. My husband runs lots of lighting. But this is going to be great because show tunes are really what I would probably say are my forte, but I don't do them that often because they're not everyone's cup of tea.
Really? I love it. Is that true? That I mean, obviously, it's true because you're there, but there's this massive, big revival of theatre here in the UK. Like there are people that have seen Les Miserables hundreds of times. They can't get enough of it.
I've sang "I Dreamed a Dream" in my show forever since it first came out.
Oh, it's a hugely successful show.
But on a cruise ship, you've really got to think about international
I
audiences
suppose,
and
yeah.
demographics. So I only do 2, maybe 3 at a push.
Really? See, I love all them.
I think it's fine. I mean, I do think I with the production shows, there is enough Broadway and West End material happening in their shows. So I get it. But now I can do what I want. And
yeah.
We were talking about this the other day, you and I. Let me grab my piece of paper. I started with like 50 songs and I sang through all of them. And there's my list. I'm down to 19 songs. So by the time Good Friday comes, hopefully I'll have finalized. Some of them are a little obscure, but then that's how I am. Some of them will be super well known. one thing I did realize going through the list is how many of them represent something in my life. And I think musicals do that. I don't know if they do that for people not in the industry as much, but maybe in the industry, as you'll hear a show tune and it'll just dart you right back to that time and place. So, yeah, really, I've got some really comical pieces, some very well known ones. And yeah, that's going to be Good Friday, 8 p.m. in England. So it'll be right after your show, Melissa.
Yes.
Because so Melissa
Yes.
can watch. I chose a
So,
Friday because,
yeah.
you know, the Brits, I'm very well aware that Ant and Dec is
Yeah.
back on now. So we don't want to compete with their regular
No,
TV
on
time.
Saturday night.
It's harder because I live in
Yeah.
California. So it's going to be 12 noon for those of us
Yeah.
this side of the country. But
Yeah.
if
And
it
is
goes,
it
if
a
it goes
holiday?
well, if it goes well, then I'll switch and do an evening for the US audiences. But in
Right. I was
general,
going to say, is it a holiday over there though as well?
yeah, I don't know if Good
Good
Friday is
Friday.
a big deal. Probably the Monday, Easter
Monday.
Monday
Yeah.
might be a
Easter
holiday.
Monday. Yeah.
I've never paid
Interesting.
attention to anything like that. When you don't work a regular job, you don't
Oh
pay
no.
attention
It's
to
like, what day is it? It's the
it's a
sea day.
holiday.
What do
It's
you
a
mean?
work day. Something's happening in the world. I'm going to
It's,
work today.
it's a day that ends in Y. Well,
But
this is
I've got
good.
that Easter egg. I've got a Galaxy Easter egg because I went into LA and I paid the most ridiculous amount, but I
You
got
just told me I would have sent you one. It would have been
oh,
cheaper.
I'm so
Daft.
excited. It's my first Easter egg since I moved to America, and that's been
So they do not
13
have,
years.
do they not have Easter eggs there? But it's Galaxy.
Well, now I realize in places like LA, and I think like in the cruise ports in Fort Lauderdale, but
Yeah.
I was in Nashville for the longest time. No. I used to find chocolate like in some of the ports, but I've never found any. This is the first time I've actually physically bought myself an Easter egg somewhere. Well, my husband bought it for me.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Well, this has been brilliant. Once again, I'm really grateful for your time because, and I wondered if you'd come back in the future.
I'd love to. You know, I've been on several people's shows during this quarantine thing. I should just do my own show because then I'll waffle on for hours.
Yeah, you should.
But
You should do your own show.
No, because I thought about it and then I was like, no one would get a word in.
Another word. But your show would be, because I have no talent whatsoever, you know, but you could bring all your entertainment friends on, and you could put together an amazing show. But I do realize how much work that would be. That's horrendous.
Well, you know me, I can't keep up with all the projects I'm doing right now.
I know, you are a busy lady.
Some nights
it's crazy, isn't it?
Because I'm still in here doing something, which I've got to do now. I'm going to run off now and record my episode for Sunday, which is going to be my St. Patrick's themed episode.
Fab.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I look forward to that. So if you're watching this, head over to Sonia Selbie's YouTube channel and subscribe so you don't miss any of her videos. She's doing public domain songs, which are fabulous, and you've got some Ken Dodds stuff on there, which is not available out there. Pete says, great show, well done. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for watching, Pete. Really appreciate it, and good luck with your show. Pete's got a show on a Sunday night, 8 p.m. London time. That is, oh God, what time's that in California? That's
8 p.m.
12 noon in California. So do make sure you watch Pete's show. It's Cruise Amigos, and he usually shares it on my page. So please share the show with Pete so people can watch it, and get your tickets for the spring show, Easter, Good Friday, spring show. I'll be watching it. I'll have a little drink. Oh, sorry, Pete. Pete says it's 7 p.m. Sorry, 7 p.m. That's 11 a.m. in California. And he's going to share it. That's great. Vicky says, loved it. Thank you. Thanks for watching, Vicky. Thanks for your comments. And keep up the good work with the school. And yeah, don't forget to get your tickets. And anything else? Will you be back on ships when ships come back?
Oh gosh, yes. I took my first booking for next year.
Did ya? What ship?
I took on Oceania. I can't remember now.
Oh, great.
I think let's keep our fingers crossed that before like fall and autumn kick in, maybe something will start happening then. I don't know. I've
I
just
think
stayed
so.
positive all the way through. Keep going.
I agree.
In
I
the
agree.
meantime, it's $15 to watch me with all your friends and your family.
Yes.
Cheap as
So if you're
chips.
missing all that amazing entertainment, then June says, lovely to see you, Sonia. Remember me, Vicky's auntie.
Oh, hello, Vicky's auntie June.
Brilliant. Well, listen, you have a great day. Good luck with the video. We look forward to seeing that on YouTube. Thank you for watching, everybody. And thank you, Sonia, for being my guest on the show tonight. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much.